Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Curseof and welcome back to another video. Today we are here for something that is a little bit of an easy video for me to do. Main reason being, this video should have come out half an hour ago at the time of recording. So we're just going to get something really nice and easy in today here because I want to keep up those frequent uploads. So today we're here to basically talk about the top 5 cards that I want to see come to Speed Duels. So before I get into the actual discussion, I want to set one specific rule for this video. I am not going to be bringing up any cards that are obviously era specific. For example, heroes. Heroes are very, very specifically a GX era archetype. So even though I really want to see heroes come to Speed Duels, they will not be mentioned in this video. I'll be sticking to things that are either generic or DM era cards. They can be like a GX or 5Ds era card as long as they weren't like anime specific or anime centric to, like, you know, the plot and overall there. So yeah, with that, why don't we start off this video here. Coming in at number 5 is my controversial pick. This is a card that I want to see come to Speed Duels because of Matt's statement, "I will not make a ban list if I can avoid it." That statement got me thinking, well, what are some cards that Matt could add that are technically banned or technically limited, we'll say. Technically already on the ban list because they're only usable at 1 copy or 2 copies, for example. And the card that came to my mind is a card called Pot of Extravagance. So, for those of you who do not know what Pot of Extravagance does, Pot of Extravagance states, at the start of your main phase 1, banish 3 or 6 random face-down cards from your extra deck. Random face-down cards from your extra deck face down. Draw 1 card for every 3 cards banished. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot draw any cards by card effects. So, the reason I want to see this come is because it's the only way we're really going to get a Pot of Greed that isn't a skill card come out in Speed Duels. What makes this so balanced in the Speed Duel format, now balanced is in quotations, is not necessarily balanced. It's a generic draw card, a generic +1. It'll be used by every single deck, but it will only be used at 1. This is because you are required to banish 3 to 6 cards. If your deck doesn't use the extra deck, you'll be running this card, and you'll banish 6, and you'll draw 2, and that'll be your entire extra deck, meaning you will not be able to use a second one as long as we don't have cards that recycle banished cards back into the extra deck in any way, shape, or form. This makes this card a technically limited card, even though it's not actually limited, and makes it balanced to a degree. Along with that, it doesn't abuse OTK decks because you cannot use any more draw power for the remainder of the turn. So if you pop this, you're not dropping a lore or anything like that. Also needs to be the very first card you drop for that turn, so you need to extrav before you do anything else. All of these factors in your head here, it balances out the card a decent bit and basically makes it the only way that we'll probably get Pot of Greed in Speed Duels at all. Yeah, except for maybe Cup of Ace, we could see that. But overall, I really like the card. Would really like to see it come to the game. Like I said, still a bit iffy on it for sure because it is such a powerful card. But at least every deck would have access to it. So, I mean, it's going to help the best decks more than the rogue decks. But it's a cute little card. It's Pot of Greed. Pot of Greed is iconic. I'm a big iconic boy here. Really like those classic Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and because of that, Pot of Extravagance would be something very, very interesting to see. Continuing the classic boy trend here, coming in at my number 4 spot for a card I want to see added to the Speed Duel format is Dark Magic Curtain. Dark Magic Curtain states, pay half of your life points, special summon 1 Dark Magician from your deck. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card, but you can set. If you want to play a Dark Magician in any competitive manner whatsoever, this card is necessary. Yes, Dark Magician OTK is a blessing. It is an absolute Blessing. By the way, if you guys do want to see an updated Dark Magician OTK deck profile, yeah, you guys can comment. It's not actually updated because of Jinzo, but just found a better way to use it. Anyway, not the point of this. This is the only card. This is the card that Dark Magician so desperately needs. Along with that, it is very, very balanced. You need to actually see the card in your hand. You need to pay half your life points, and you cannot set for the remainder of the turn. This means, you cannot summon other monsters during the turn that you use the card. This means that it's not going to offer these crazy OTKs or anything like that. It's just going to be a great card to turbo out Dark Magician, which Dark Magician so desperately needs. Dark Magician struggles so much doing anything because it struggles so much getting Dark Magician on the field in the first place. Because of that, Dark Magic Curtain is so necessary to the deck, and I really, really want to see this card added very, very soon, hopefully in the Speed Duel box. Pot of Extravagance doesn't need to be in the Speed Duel box, but Dark Magic Curtain, that should really drop in the Speed Duel box. So that is my number 4 slot, because I'm a classic boy. I want to see Dark Magician do well. Moving on to the number 3 slot for cards I want to see added to the Speed Duel format, we have Solemn Scolding. I think this is the best Solemn card to add, except for Solemn Wishes, but that card's garbage, in my opinion. Solemn Scolding is a counter trap. We don't have many counter traps. The only real good one that we have, at the moment at least, because Trap Jammer could potentially be good later on, but the only good one we really have right now is Vigilance, and that only works with Serpent Knight or Blue Eyes, and those decks aren't that great right now. So having another decent counter trap would be very, very cool, and I love the Solemn cards. The Solemn cards are super iconic. They're all fantastic cards, and this is probably one of the more balanced ones in the game. It states, if this is the only set card in your spell and trap zone, when a monster will be summoned, or a spell card, trap card, or monster effect is activated, pay 3,000 life points, negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy that card. This is very, very big. This allows you to basically just stop any effect that your opponent is trying to throw out at you. It can stop Parasite Paranoid, it can stop Zoma, it can stop Offerings, it can stop a Jinzo summon. Absolutely amazing, but it's at the cost of not having any other back row. So you basically need to rely very, very heavily on this Solemn Scolding. Along with that, 3,000 life points. That can be extremely detrimental. That puts you in range of Lava Golem, in range of just 2 wheels, a lot of things like that. And basically, almost any monster in the game can kill you after that 3,000 pay. But on the upside of that, it also allows you to use card effects like Destiny Draw as a big example. So it can activate those ones that require you to pay before using, but it's also not absurdly broken. It's just a really, really good counter trap that would be awesome to see in the format. And yeah, there's Solemn Scolding. Would love to see it. Would love to see it. Let's go ahead and move on to my number 2. My number 2 slot. Let's go. Coming into my number 2 slot here is just a card that I really, really like. That is the Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. Sacred Phoenix basically says, once per turn, during your next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon this card from the graveyard. If you do, destroy all spells and traps on the field. So, Sacred Phoenix is a super, super cool card that came out a good while ago, back in the Master Rule format in Flaming Eternity. It was actually the cover card for that set, and it has a really, really, really cool effect in the ability to pop all spells and traps on the field if it's destroyed by a card effect. This suddenly means that your opponent cannot really safely pop this with Offerings, or with a Man-Eater, or with Old Vindictive, or with New Doria. So if any of those cards are relevant, they lose a lot of their playability suddenly. Along with that, this card is going to combo off with cards like that of Wild Tornado as a huge, huge, huge example. You go ahead and special summon back your Sacred Phoenix from the graveyard, pop your Wild Tornado, pop a monster on the field, and pop their entire back row. Sacred Phoenix can be very, very good if it has the right support cards added to the game. Along with Sacred Phoenix, Hand of Nephthys would also be really, really cute. I think you tribute Hand and another monster on the field, and you can summon a Sacred Phoenix directly from your deck. So it's a really, really good way to turbo out the card, get it on the field, and then figure out how's my opponent going to deal with this. Are they going to deal with it by card effect? If so, I'm going to come back, pop their entire field, and yeah, very, very cute card. Really, really good if you can pop it yourself. We can get some good cards to do that, to pop it actually in hand. That would be amazing. This card could be crazy. Anyway, I just want to see it because it's truly a favorite card of mine. And yeah, I'd love to see it do good and yeah, do things. Anyway, let's move on to number 1. Okay. Number 1. Who is it? Exodia, the Forbidden One. Okay. I know. Matt doesn't want to add Exodia. I get it. I understand. Don't want to add Exodia. You got to do some weird things with, like, the deck and do some, like, really weird garbage crap stuff. Anyway, I think Exodia, the Forbidden One, could be potentially a super cute skill. Obviously, you're not going to add the Exodia pieces as actual cards in the Speed Duel format. That's not something that you're going to want to do. But what you could do is add the arm, the leg, the hand, add the arms, the legs, the arms and the legs. That's all. Don't add the head. Leave the head as a skill effect. Alright? Just, you can call it Exodia Forbidden One. You can call it Obliterate. You can call it whatever you want. Point is, have a skill. Maybe have the skill state that activate this skill when you run out of cards to draw. If you have left leg, left arm, right leg, right arm in your hand, reveal them to your opponent and you win the duel. This is a much more balanced way to use the skill. It means you basically have to deck out to pop the skill. You need to have no cards remaining in your deck to use this. So your goal is going to be to just draw to all hell and back. And then you need to have every single piece in your hand. I think it's fair. I think it could work. Yes, in the future when you get more draw power and you get like better decks at drawing, it can definitely be abused. But in the current format, we don't have anything that could inherently absolutely abuse it, especially with a format that just OTKs so consistently. And you know what? There might be people who can come up with better skills than just deck out and potentially win. But I think this is still probably the best way to go about the Exodia skill. Maybe you could even make it, if you wanted, that you need to have all 4 pieces in hand and in graveyard to go ahead and pop the Exodia skill. Make it even harder to go ahead and pop the skill's effect. But the point is, even if it's absolutely garbage, I'm an iconic boy. Exodia's the iconic boy. And I really, really want to see Exodia added to Speed Duels in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's like the worst deck, period. You need to have all 4 limbs in grave and in hand. And that's how you win. That's really hard, especially right now in Speed Duels. Maybe in the future, like I said, it could be broken. But right now, it's not. I just want to see Exodia, man. Just add Exodia. I think it'd be so cool to have Exodia in Speed Duels, even if it's garbage. Just put him in the game. Just put him in the game. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is my top 5 cards that I want to see come to the Speed Duel format. If you guys agree with me, leave it down in the comments. If you guys don't, leave it down in the comments. And if you guys have your own top 5 lists that you guys want to see come to the Speed Duel format, I also want to know what you guys are thinking, so please leave that down in the comment section. Anyway, that's a wrap, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe. I am doing bi-daily uploads every second day, and your guys' support encourages me to keep on doing what I'm doing. Anyway, that's a wrap, guys. I'll catch you guys all, not tomorrow, but the following day for another video. Peace.